I've been driving this Toyota Prius for almost 2 years. This is my daily driver. And I always wanted to find something else more fun, more JDM, something with a manual gearbox. And now, I finally found a car that ticks all the boxes. So this is my brand new car, the 1998 Toyota Starlet Glanza V.
This is the 5th generation Toyota Starlet, introduced in 1996. There is a few variants and this is the top model Glanza V. Powered by a 1.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, making 133 horsepower and 157 Nm of torque. It only weighs at 920 kilograms for the manual car, and it was only sold in Japan. There is also a smaller brother called the Glanza S, which is powered by a naturally aspirated 1.3-liter engine, making 83 horsepower and 117 Nm of torque.
So as you can see, this car is not stock at all. So on the front of the car, you can see this massive intercooler mounted on the front of the car. So that is why the front license plate is now mounted on the side. And then in stock form, the intercooler will be mounted on top of the engine, just like in a Subaru. But you know, you want bigger intercooler, so it's now mounted on the front. So come here to see the wheels. These are the 15-inch thick SSR wheels, wrapped in Potenza RE003, which has no grip at all. And then we come to the doors. These are quite big for this car. I really like the smooth, the sloping design of the front door. You can see slightly raised it up on the line. And then after that, we have this Glanza logo here to show you this is not your average shitbox Starlet. Yeah. And then we now come to the back of the car. We can see this Glanza logo and the Starlet logo, but there is no Toyota logo. So I guess this is why some people will think this is a Honda Civic Type R instead of a Toyota Starlet. So they're quite amazed to know that this is a Toyota hatchback instead of a Honda. So this is pretty much the exterior look of the car. And we now come to see the engine bay and the rear trunk. So as I mentioned, this car is not stock at all. So there's a few modifications due to this car. So as you can see, there's a few mods, like this massive intake, and then there's a blow-off valve, strut bar here, and then the intercooler and all those piping, and pretty much stock. Oh yeah, there is also no ABS here, so as you can see, this part is blank out. And so when you really step into the brakes, it will lock up the wheels, so kind of dangerous when you drive really fast. But yeah, nothing really special here. So we now come to the back of the car. So because this is a very small family hatchback, you don't really have much storage space here. We have this, 2 speakers, this cleaning stuff, engine oil, and there's a massive subwoofer in the middle of the storage space. So we'll remove that because it kind of blocks my way to put my stuff here. So yeah, not really much to talk about the inside. So I guess we should now go to see the interior now. So inside of the interior of this car, there is a few modifications due to it. Say for example, there is the HKS turbo timer in front of the gear lever. There is also a boost gauge, which is on top of the dashboard. But other than that, there aren't many modifications. We have this paddle extender to have bigger place for you to put your leg. And then I guess this gear knob is not stock at all. And then also we have this Recaro Alex seat. Yeah, it is quite bolster, and I think this seat is quite fit to this car because it is a really low car. But the original seat is pretty high. So this seat is quite good for this car. And also we have this pretty 90s Japanese car patterns on seats everywhere, on the door trim, on the seat, on the rear seat too. So yeah, I guess this is pretty much what I can say inside this car. So I guess we should go for a drive right now. So what it's like to drive this Toyota Starlet Glanza V. So this is a very simple, basic JDM hatchback from the 1990s. Yeah, you can see the interior is very simple, You know, you got this very interesting pattern, just like any other 90s JDM hatchback, but you don't really have much gadget here inside the car. One thing I do really like is that this has a factory boost gauge. It doesn't really show how much boost you get, like the exact number, but you have like your 4 dots showing you how many boosts are in. 3 of them are showing you how many boosts you have in the car, and then the 4th one are showing you which mode you're in, either the low mode or the high mode. So the low mode will have around 110 horsepower, high mode will be 138, but this car doesn't have any kind of low mode because I don't know which owner ditched that. So this car now only has one boost mode, which is the normal mode. But of course, this car is not stock at all. So I guess now the car makes around 170, 180 horsepower instead of the 138 horsepower from the car. So the gear shifter is very normal, very Toyota, I would say. You know, you got those clunky sound, and pedals are very easy for you to do blipping throttle, maybe a heel toe. But one thing I do want to complain about is that the place for you to rest your left leg is kind of weird. You have to put your leg pretty deep inside the engine, inside the car. You know, it is next to the clutch pedal, but it is really close. So every time I want to put my foot deep inside there, I have to touch the clutch pedal because it is very close. And every time I do that, it will make kind of this metal clunking sound. So I do really want to take those off. Yeah, but now talking about the sitting position, this is a bit weird because the bottom of this seat is broken. This is the Recaro LX kind of classy looking seat, but very alright if this seat is in a very normal position. It should be like this. But now the seat is broken on the bottom, so I sit even lower than that. Yeah, but other than that, it will be very good if I have a normal seat. So I gotta need to buy another better seat of this LX. I mean, it's pretty easy to drive, very comfortable if you have the stock suspension. So this has the TRD suspension at the front. It is really, really harsh in some kind of shitty road in Hong Kong, but in some smoother roads like this, it will be a bit better to drive. But this car just drives like a Toyota Echo, Toyota Vitz, whatever you like to call it. But very simple 90s car, just like the Corolla that I've driven before. Okay. Yeah, this car is obviously lower than that because of the aftermarket Recaro LX, and I mean the steering size should be similar, maybe a bigger in that car, but I forgot about it. It's been almost a year that I've driven that car. Yeah, and I just want to say this is a very easy driving car for those of you who just want to buy a very simple car to drive, to learn how to drive a manual. This is a really, really good car because it is really light. It only weighs around 920 kilograms. Got your 5-speed manual gearbox, which is very easy to shift, very easy to heel toe. And then one thing that you want to get this car is because once you put a few gears down, you can just, you know what I mean, right? Yeah, so once the boost kicks in, this car just transforms to another car. It feels so much better driving with the boots on. So yeah, and so this car does have the modified intake and modified blow-off valve. So whenever you drive a bit faster than that, you can hear all the sounds coming from the engine. Yeah, and then no problem doing heel toe. It's just very easy to drive. It's just very easy to drive. But yeah, I do need better grip tires. This is the Potenza RE 3. Doesn't really have much grip, I would say. So yeah, I need much better tires for this car. and a bit higher comfortable suspension, because I just want to daily drive this car. If I want to daily drive this car, I gotta have a much better suspension, much more comfortable, so I'm getting these. And I don't know if you can hear some wind buffering sound. It's because the plastic here is broken, so I gotta need a new plastic trim for the window. You can get a very good fuel economy because this is a 1.3 liter car. I driven this car for around 300 kilometers, something like that, but it doesn't really use that much fuel when you're driving very comfortably right now. When I'm driving at 50 kilometers at around 15,000 RPM, it drives like very normal car. But once you want to go a bit faster, you can drop down a few gears. It just flies. You can hear the boost gauge. Yeah, you can hear the wind buffering. I'm gonna need to fix that thing soon. Ooh. Do really need to fix this as soon as possible because it's making so much noise. Yeah. Now I tame a bit. I'm driving at 80, 70 at around 2,000 RPM. So it is kind of high RPM, I would say. But it's a 90s family hatchback. It doesn't really have 6 gear. So if you have 6 gear, the fuel economy would be way better than now. But I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with the fuel economy now in this form, and the modification due to this car, I would say is all right. Not too much. I've seen people in the UK driving this car making like over 200, 300 or something like 400 horsepower in something this small is really crazy, I would say. But I mean, this powertrain, this setup right now, it is very good for me. I mean, for people to drive right now, to learn how to drive manual and enjoy turbocharging. Yeah, I do think this car should appreciate a lot more. So because the total production of this car is not that much. It's around 19,000 cars ever made in terms of the Glanza V, the turbocharged version. I'm not sure about the Glanza S, which is the naturally aspirated version, but some of them were in automatic. So because I bought this car because it has the manual, of course. Why wouldn't you want to buy a automatic version of that, right? So I just want to say this is for those of you who live in a place with very tight roads like Hong Kong, it is very good because this car is very tiny, and you got so much space left compared when you drive something like an SUV or something like that, a more modern car. This is way better to drive and feeling not that scared when you're next to some very big cars, because you have so much gap between them. Yeah, anyway, I kind of need to spend some money to fix this car. I hope this car will be, much better in condition after I fix it. Let's do, a bit more throttle thing, first gear. And then, once the boost kicks in, you can hear a bit of torque steer, because the tire is not very good. Kind of sounds like a mini Evo right now. You often hear Mitsubishi Evo with very high boost and intake and ball valve. This has all of them, so yeah, it kind of reminds me of that. And also because the production of this car is not that much, not many people actually knowing this car. I've been to places where people don't actually know what this car is, because this car doesn't have any kinds of Toyota logo outside, just have a massive Glanza logo and then the Starlet V logo outside. So when they walk outside the car, they think maybe this is a Civic Type R EK9, because it is also in white. It is a Japanese car, you can see. So they kind of amazed when they know this is a Toyota instead of a Honda Civic Type R. But I would say if you put this car side by side to a Honda Civic Type R, this is like around 80% of the size of that. But I'm not sure how this car drives compared to the Civic Type R. I haven't driven that car before, so this is like a very first car for me to drive, to learn how to drive manual, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. But I do need to fix all the stuff that this car needs to fix, like the gap, the plastic here, the seats, and a few bits of the car. I need to change. But yeah, anyway, I'm pretty satisfied with this car. I do think this car do appreciate a lot because of the not many people are knowing them, and cars are getting very big right now. So you can't really buy many of the small hatchback, fun hatchback to buy right now. Something like a Mini Cooper is still very big right now compared to this car. As I said, this car, the size of this car is around 3.8 meters. You don't really find many cars in this size right now. So yeah, for those of you who want to find a very small family hatchback, which is fun, which I've been looking for this car for quite a while on the market. So I finally bought this car for like around after half a year, after I've been keep looking for these cars popped up. Yeah, I'm quite satisfied with this car. I mean, this does fit all the things that I wanted to have. A manual car, JDM, something of a turbo. This has it all, I would say. I'm pretty satisfied with the things that is in this car right now, but I'm not very satisfied with this very slow car in front of me. I think we need to do few more full throttle, and then yeah. I mean, this is not really that fast, this car, to be honest. Because it's not a Civic Type R like the FK8, which is much bigger, much more powerful in this car. This is just for its size and for the output of this car, I would say it is perfect. You got a very small car, you got turbocharging. Although this is not, it doesn't have a four-wheel drive system. I think this car is even smaller than the GR Yaris nowadays. Although that car is much more powerful than this, it has four-wheel drive, much more high-tech stuff. But you want to get that car that is really expensive in Hong Kong. It is around 600,000 Hong Kong dollars, or 60K in pounds, or 70, 80K in US dollars. So that is a lot of money. You can almost buy 10 of these if you're going to buy a GR Yaris. So for 1/10 of the price, I'm pretty satisfied with this car. This is a very great car for me. I mean, it ticks all the boxes that I want. It's very simple. I mean, pretty okay, easy to drive, and I can learn a lot of stuff in this car. So yeah, very easy to blip. Yeah. Very satisfying to hear all these blower valve and intake sound. Yeah. God, I guess we're going to do the last class of this video. Yeah. U-turn. Yep. One more straight row in front of me, and then this is the end, I would say. this is what it's like driving this car. You can drive it very slowly, very gently, just like any other small hatchback. And once you got a very straight road, you can just drive this in full throttle, and you got so much fun in this car. Yeah. Now in 4th gear, 5th gear, just like any other shitbox hatchback.
Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to give a like and comments on this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon next to it. I'll be making more videos of this car if you guys enjoy watching it, so stay tuned.